Welcome back to Mountain Connections. We are going to talk about limiting beliefs. How do they affect our lives? How do they shape who we become and what we do? Well, life coach Terry Sidford is here with us today. She is also one of the hosts of Park City Pulse, and we're happy that she's taking time out of her busy schedule to sit down with us today and encourage and inspire us. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me again. I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming back. There's always so much to talk about that we just have to keep having you here.
I know. I'm so excited about this subject too.
Well, I am too, and we thought it was perfect for Sports Week because a lot of times limiting beliefs can keep us from doing certain things, certain athletic outside endeavors, just because of simple experiences or something someone might say, and it really can change our life, not in a good way.
Right. It's amazing how many people walk day to day and think about what they're believing. Not very many. And I do think that makes a difference in someone believing, especially athletes. I think it's a great example of believing that they can win or be a winner, right? Versus just participating. Because you think, if you look about all the professionals in sports, there's so many that are equally as good. But what makes a difference in the ones that win, the ones that are professionals as far as, winning tournaments and things like that? And I really think it's because they believe that they can do it. And that's a great, metaphor or description of making the difference of what you believe can really, it can act out in your life. So what you believe is important.
And I think when you talk about these champion athletes, they must be, and I think Reed Carlson talked a little bit about mindfulness training, but they must be very aware of their thoughts and how your thoughts shape your actions, which is an obvious statement. But sometimes something someone says, whether it's a coach or you have a bad experience or you miss some shots in the beginning of the game, really, that can really throw people off. And you're right, champions, they don't let it. But how do you do that?
Right. I think it's being aware that what you believe inside and understanding what's true about your beliefs and what's not true, and taking the time to slow it down and say, what am I believing? And why do I have this strange belief that just pops up all the time? It could happen. It could have happened when you were small. It could have been somebody saying something that you just kind of took on as like, okay, that's me, and now I need to believe it. So it's like a detective. You really have to be aware and search and have new perspectives on what you believe. And then, what are you capable of? If you don't believe you're capable of more than who you are right now, then you'll never get there. Mm-hmm. So you have to, that's also a belief. And that can create new beliefs. So really inspect, what am I believing? Is it true? That's probably the first step right there, is to slow it down, be mindful enough to go, what am I believing? And is that really me? Or is that keeping me from really performing or being my best? And then if it is, you say, that's not me, then replace it with a new belief. Just like that. And then continue to be aware if that old belief keeps popping up, replace it with a new belief until it just becomes habit. It just becomes a part of you. We have 2,000 to 3,000 thoughts, just going through our brain in an hour.
Wow.
Yeah, so and
so many.
We're not even conscious of them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also like, what am I thinking? Why am I thinking this? Because your thoughts do, a lot of times your thoughts over and over again will create a belief.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's interesting. We talked about how this relates to athletics and being successful, but it obviously definitely relates to our everyday lives. But so how do you know if you are experiencing a limited belief? I think it's so easy to convince ourselves that, no, this is reality. How do you push through that, or how can you be more cognizant that that's what you're doing?
That's such a great question. It's kind of a deep question.
Yeah, not an easy answer, I'm
Not
sure.
an easy answer, no. But the first step is like, how do I feel when I believe this thought? Do I feel good? Do I feel bad? And even if you have lots of evidence, like this thought is true or this belief is true, and you have lots of evidence to back it up, do I feel good when I think that way, when I believe that way about myself? And inspect it as a new moment in time. Because maybe that belief was true in the past, but is it true right now? So in new moment in time, present time, is that really true right now? Mm-hmm. And can I change it? So a belief can be changed. So just ask yourself, is it true? Do I feel good when I think this way? Would I feel better if I believe something different?
Such good advice. I've been honestly reading your book, 100 Hearts.
Oh,
This
good.
is just a shameless plug. I really have, and I've really been enjoying it. And I noticed a little passage I'm going to read really quickly that really I think is a great example of limiting beliefs, and it has to do with athletics as well. And this individual said, "I had an athletic scholarship in college. Because of an injury, I could not compete at a winning level. I told my coach she should give my scholarship to someone who could help the team win. Her response changed my life. She said, a team is not only made up of winners, you're the heart of the team and a leader. That's your role for now." So she was ready to quit the team and be done.
Wow.
And
Yes.
thankfully her coach gave her some great advice and helped her see, oh wait, I'm more than that.
Absolutely. So different people can influence you as well. They can influence you in a negative way, but they can also change it around and just say, just because one person thinks that you're not going to succeed, maybe another person will see it differently. It's a different perspective, just like the coach did. And how, that she would have given up if that coach didn't say something to her. So we should also be very careful what we say to other people. We don't want to put our opinions and our beliefs onto other people because it might not fit for them. And
Yeah,
so
absolutely. We're talking during the break of these limiting beliefs, and I've been more aware of it as I send my daughter off to college. And I think about decisions I made at a very young age where someone mentioned, oh, that major's too hard. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm not going to do it. Just
Right.
one comment completely changed, and then actually I ended up going back and getting a master's degree in that very subject.
Wow.
So silly, but at the same time, our mind is so powerful, and sometimes we can feel like we're not enough. We're not good enough to do this, or we failed at this, so let's just not do it anymore. And those negative thoughts sometimes can be really difficult to overcome.
Absolutely. That's such a great example of what happened to you. And you probably weren't even aware like how much it affected you.
Yeah.
So we're very vulnerable to what people say about us because we want to be, liked. We want to be approved of, especially thought leaders. So, just be aware of this is your life, and you're the one in charge of your life, and your thoughts, your beliefs, they do create your life. So you start with what's happening inside, what you're believing, and believe that you're capable of more than you think you are. And just really do an inventory, be a detective. Figure out what you're really thinking, what you're really believing, and then see what's happening outside in your life. A lot of times it's a reflection of what you're believing. You're like, why isn't that happening? Why can't I make change here or there? Maybe you're believing that you don't deserve it, or I can't because someone told me I can't. So that's probably the first step, is just do an inventory, be a detective.
So as a life coach, when you notice a client that is maybe feeling these limited beliefs or in kind of a negative thought process, or, when you recognize that, what do you do?
I gently, kindly mention it and say, is that serving you? Is that thought serving you? Is it really true? And I believe that they have the answer somewhere. If they slow down and think about it, they usually come up with the right answer. So that's really what I do. And then I'll say, okay, so get a journal, start keeping track of when that thought pops up, and write it down and replace it with a new thought. So that usually works.
And just being cognizant of it. When I was preparing for this interview, all these thoughts and memories came back to me of when I had these limited beliefs.
Right.
So I think, I'm going to be more aware of what I'm thinking and try to replace the thought. That's a great suggestion.
It is. And then all of a sudden it becomes normal. It becomes your new normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just being aware. We're so unconscious a lot of times of what we're doing. Why are we doing this? Why am I thinking this way? But we're more powerful than we think, and it starts with our thoughts, our beliefs, and just everyone today should probably just take a little notepad and say, am I thinking the right way? Am I believing what I'm really capable of doing and being in my life? And just start there.
Just go for it.
Yeah.
Terry, where can we get more information about you and feel even more inspired by what you do? And
Oh, thank you. You can go to my website, Terry, Terry, Sidford, SIDFORD.com. And I have newsletters, and I have, you can purchase my book, and you can contact me. You can have a free consultation for coaching. There's all kinds of different tools that I have available for the public.
Well, we always love having you here. I always feel inspired and good. So if you could just come every day and help me out, I think that'd be great.
I'd love to.
Well,
Thank you
so much for being here. All right, Terry Sidford, she is a life coach, local to Park City. This is her book. It's called 100 Hearts. It's a really fun read. You really feel inspired and not so alone, which is a good feeling. All right, you are more powerful than you think. Don't let thoughts limit your abilities and what you do. It's a great message for today's show. We'll be back with much more, including Dr. Dudley about health and wellness in sports. We'll be right back.